Hey, happy Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another show here on the Comic Art Live channel. We've got an art sale with Andy Kuhn today. And down here in Central Florida, it's a balmy 80 degrees and my AC has decided not to work. So hopefully today you will not see me sweat, but I can't promise that because it's getting a little muggy in here. But I've got Andy in the green room, so we're going to get him in here and we'll start talking about what's going on in his world. Hey, Andy, how you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you?
Other than being it's a little hot here today, but other than that, I'm all right. I'm going to call the AC guy and have him over here on Monday.
Well, count your blessings, sir.
We can't stand.
Here in New Mexico, it is in the 40s.
Really? I thought New Mexico was always hot.
Well, I did too. When we first moved here, I was like, "Oh, isn't it summer all year round?" And then we got some snow, and I was like, "What?" But yeah, it snows here usually about 4 or 5 times a season, and it's usually just a little, it's burned off by noon or whatever. But occasionally we get an actual snow. So
we're not. I don't think I'm going to see that here, but it got down in the 30s last year when we were here, but yeah, today 80, and it couldn't be more humid. It's like one of the worst days in the summer. It is today. It is like I am swimming through my backyard. Yeah, but
you guys get the hurricanes and whatnot.
We do. We do. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the state, so I don't get too much here. But we get a little bit. We get rain and wind, but nothing. It doesn't really hit that hurricane status, but that's all right. I didn't want to live on the coast anyway. So hey, we had our show last August, and so that was a few months ago. So I know that we were talking in the green room. You got a few new projects that you got started. So what's on your drawing board today?
Well, I am currently working on a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles story for the IDW Free Comic Book Day comic, which will be out in May. And I am fairly positive that they announced that already. If they haven't, oops.
Well, just don't read the script to us, and I think
no. But it's a fun little story, and it's got sort of all the turtle stuff that you would love in it. So
perfect. And you were showing me the storyboards. You want to show everybody how you usually block out a script?
Well, I can't.
Before you get started.
Spoiler alert. So this is these are some here.
There you go, right in the middle.
There we go. But so I usually I start with thumbnails that are about playing card size, and then I blow those up to work for the final pages. But hopefully people can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, everybody took
horrible scribbles right there.
Everybody took a screenshot while you held that up, and now they're contacting IDW.
They're right selling it online.
They're going to make prints. But is that your standard process? Have you always worked that way, by laying them out like that?
I have. I didn't always work this way. Basically, it was something that I stole from my buddy Chris Somney.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting next to him at a show. This was quite a while ago. And he had these beautiful little thumbnails, and I was just like completely amazed by it. Each one of his little thumbnails was just a little gem, and I was just like, oh man, I am stealing that idea right now. But I think a lot of guys work that way, but
oh yeah, I've seen different ones where they almost do them full size. Other ones do them even smaller than where yours were at. I remember seeing some, gosh, what was it? I think like Mark Bagley prelim layouts where he'd do it on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and have 20 pages all laid out on it, and he wasn't even filling up half the page, right?
Nice.
So
yeah, I made a little template for myself of basically what you're talking about, which would be 20 pages on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And sometimes I use that, but it's more for, I guess if I'm trying to sort of block out ideas for an entire, trying to figure out how an entire issue is going to work together, rather than just specific pages. But because I mean, like this size, that's about as small as I can, sort of legibly make a comics page.
And then what do you actually transfer it to a board before you ink it, or do you then pencil that onto a board? How do you?
Usually what I do is I'll blow it up to the size of the board, and then I put it behind the.
Oh, you light box it.
I put it behind the board on a light box and just go from that.
That makes a lot of sense. And then what do you do? Do you save your prelims or do you toss them?
I do. I have made I made a book which I sell at shows of my my Turtles thumbnails, and I'm hopeful that some of my comics making peers would do the same, that I could trade in books with, because I'm a huge fan of like, process work. I think it's all really cool. So, but yeah, I do save them. There's a few people that are sometimes interested in buying that kind of stuff too, but mostly, not a lot of people who are into the scribbly part.
Right. Well, if they could get the prelim along with the published page or something like that, I could see them they have all steps or stages within an artist's process. But yeah, I mean, I think straight up just prelims. I mean, you can't really even say that if you think about it. You see prelims selling all the time now, from like John Romita Sr. Back in the day. If that's all you can get, so it's good to save them at the end of the day, Andy. There'll be a market for it one way or another at some point in time, whether you're with us at that point or not. So,
damn, bro,
I got it.
This got dark real quick.
It did. I think it's the heat in this office that's getting to me. I saw, Marcus said swamp weather is great for art. Yeah, trust me, I'll probably be moving my portfolios and stuff out of the office if I can't get my AC, because I have an external office, so it's got one of those wall-mounted AC. AC/heater units, and and it died last night.
Damn.
Well, at least the AC portion of it died. I think it's out of coolant or something like that, because I can put the heat on right now. That still works. But, but the AC is, so I've got, but you can't hear the fans, right? Because I've got like 3 fans in the room just to keep it cool in here. But Marcus, but hey, it's nice. I see Rich Donnelly's in here, like number 14. That's a good reminder for everybody to hit the thumbs up while we're streaming here on a Saturday. It's always good because it helps spread the word that we're on here. One thing I wanted to let everybody know, obviously,
right now.
There you go. Hey, look at that. I love it. Obviously we're doing an art sale today, and typically when we do a second or a third show, we always kind of bring in the art from the prior one and discount it. But because we have 36 pieces of artwork that we're going to be showing you today, that's a lot of art to get through in one sitting, and we're going to be starting the art sale soon. But with regards to the art that didn't sell the last time, if you're watching on YouTube, and I think most people are right now, I put links in the show description. What we decided to do was, I had that artwork already posted to my CAF gallery in the CAF classifieds and whatnot. And so we discounted all the cover art by 10% and the interiors and pinups by 20 or a little bit more than 20%. And there's 2 links there because I made a gallery room for the cover artwork and a gallery room for the interiors. So we're not going to be showing those during the stream today, but you can have an opportunity for that, because after by this time next Saturday, I'm going to put all that artwork into a box and ship it back to Andy, because that's what the way we do it around here. We give every piece of art one extra chance to sell before we return it. So yeah. And Andy was good enough to let me just straight up discount everything on the website for everybody. And I'm
crazy.
That's right, exactly. We we like crazy sellers here every once in a while, not all the time, but yeah, you'll paint that car for $49.95. Yeah.
Yeah, but that True Coat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I once had I restored a VW bus once, right? And call me stupid, and but I did everything. I literally, fixed all the dents, bondoed it, sanded it, primed it myself.
Wow.
But when I bought it, the guy who had it before me had painted it a little different color than the interior. The interior was like a cherry red, beautiful, right? Because those older vehicles, you can see the exterior color on the interior, but the guy, he had painted it almost like a magenta on the outside, ugly, right?
Oh.
So, but some of that paint was still there. So when I took it to the paint shop, the $49.95 Earl Scheib kind of guy, I said, I want it painted the original color, but I didn't state I wanted it the cherry red, right? The one that was on the inside. And so so he's like, all right, man, I got it. I got you. And I go, come back there next week to pick it up, and it's magenta. He's painted it the same fudgy. I mean, it wasn't even, shiny. The inside of the thing was beautiful and, it's still like brand new on the inside. On the outside, it was a mess. And so he painted it the exact same color. It was, wow. I almost wanted to cry, but I didn't have it. I was like, all right, I don't have any more money because I'd sunk all my money in the restoration. So I'm like, I am just going to take it as is and be thankful that this project from Hades is over with, because, that's what it felt like after like a year of doing resto work on it. But I digress.
Well, I'm always amazed at people that are able to do that. I am, my wife is incredibly sort of mechanically minded and stuff. I am just like, if I open the hood, I'm just like, I don't know, is it a toaster? I got nothing. I cannot do any of that stuff. So, well, hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, well, my major in sculpture, it was in college, was sculpture. So I was pretty decent with doing metal fabrication and a few other things, because that's what I did after I got out of college, was metal fab. I worked in a metal shop for 3 years doing just all kinds of fabrication and welding and that sort of thing.
Your degree was in sculpture?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Where at?
Montserrat College of Art.
Nice.
So that's Beverly, Massachusetts. It's about 30 minutes north of Boston, right? The city north of Salem on the coast. So
I went to a school in Indianapolis called Heron School of Art.
I've heard of that.
It was, at the time I went to it, they were sort of riding on a reputation that they had from the 40s. It was not that great a school, but I learned a lot. I was definitely exposed to a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have exposed myself to otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But their notion about drawing comics was, comics are like, a little piece of schmutz that is stuck to the bottom of your shoe. We don't want to hear about it.
Well, that was what happened to me too. I went there feeling like I was going to be a comics illustrator, and that school really had nothing to do with illustration. They were a fine arts college through and through, traditional Boston, kind of philosophy. And, they didn't like anything, I mean, I kind of had maybe an Andrew Wyatt-y kind of style, and they worked that out of me in year one. I mean, literally had one of the professors like grab my easel with with my drawing tablet on it and shake it at me saying, "Do you want to draw like Andrew Wyatt? What's wrong with you? Look at the world differently." He literally said that. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'm 18. What do I know? I let him. And so everything changed after that. But who knows? Everything happens for a reason. I mean, I wouldn't, I don't think I'd be here today if I would have started down the path of being a comic book illustrator. So,
well, it's like when I got out of school, art school, they had really, I didn't do any artwork for about maybe 3 or 4 years. I mean, at the time I was playing in bands, so I sort of had an outlet for my, my artistic nature.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably about 3 or 4 years, just because of I was so caught up in, trying to do work to please the teacher rather than trying to do what I was interested in doing. And it was really, by the end of it, it was kind of depressing. But when I at the time, after school, then my day job, I worked at a newspaper, the Indianapolis Star, as a copy messenger, running stuff around. And somebody had brought in a marker that was like a brush tip marker, which was kind of like a new thing at the time. This was mid 80s. And I started playing around with it. And I was like, ooh, I remember this. This is fun. And that was really, literally just the fact of tooling around with this marker was what got me back into comics.
That's good.
So thank you, brush tip marker.
Yeah, well, in the 80s they were always trying to innovate the art supplies, that's for sure. With the rapidograph pens, and God only knows, those really unique color dyes that they had for a while there.
Well, I mean, these days, a lot of markers, at least for artwork, are at least have a decent ink in them that doesn't, like back in the day, like I know I've seen work that Gil Kane did or work that Alex Toth did that was done with like flare pens or whatever, and it's just like
Jim Starlin too.
Oh, really? I didn't know he worked with markers. Interesting.
Yeah, that whole issue of the Death of Captain Marvel, that first graphic novel. I mean,
oh wow,
the majority of that is fading. Yeah, if you go onto CAF and search for those pages, most of them, like 95% of them were done in what they thought were permanent markers, and now they're kind of a burnt umber color, in many cases. So
wow,
yeah, it's unfortunate, right? You just don't know. But it's back to that. That's why
that was the sunlight.
Right. Well, some of that stuff fades even if it's not even in the sun. That's the problem. I think that was that's kind of the Starlin stuff is in particular just kind of is starting to disappear. And what are you going to do? It's not like you can go back and really have them try to re-ink it or something like that. So most people just let them go, as they are, and keep them in their Itoyas and hope that they'll last another 100 years.
Yeah,
you never know. Yeah, Mr. Rejek says they're a pretty red color now. That's exactly. they definitely have a red hue to them. They're not black anymore. We were just looking at there was in the last Heritage auctions, there was probably like 4 or 5 from that pages from that book, and every single one of them had that, and it was debated whether or not the the quality of the line work now detracts from the value of the art and those sorts of things. And basically it has to, because it puts a little bit of fear in you. If you're going to own that page for 15 years, what's it going to look like?
That's true.
Down the road. But we don't have to worry about those things today, fortunately. Or I guess we never know. I mean, what will Copic markers and pens look like? I mean, I'd like to think they won't lose any of their luster. But we'll see.
Well, ideally, I mean, they're supposedly, the way they market that stuff is that it is, that it's color fast or whatever. But you never know. Very true.
So, so what have you completed in the last 3 months? I know that you, I can't remember what you were working on when we interviewed you in August. But
so I am I'm basically I have a long-term project which I am is hopefully about to start soon, that I can't really talk about, but it's sort of the writers are trying to find a publisher at this point. I mean, they have some interest from several different places, but it is it is it is a waiting game right now. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, the market of comics is definitely bantered about, you know, a lot these days. You know, people are, you know, wondering what the future of comics is and all that. But you know, I'd like to think that, I don't know, like it can't get much worse than where we're at right now. But so you should be able to find. I'd like to, if it's a good project, it's got to get picked up.
Well, my thought is that comics are awesome, and because of that, the future of comics is awesome.
Mm-hmm. You got to keep that right. Well, we all have to. At the end of the day, if there's nothing for us to collect, what are we going to do?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I guess I'll just switch over to Fleer cards or something.
That's true. Well, trading cards are still pretty popular, you know, and there's
Garbage Pail Kids.
Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, I see a lot of those on eBay all the time. They're definitely still, you know, they've made a comeback and they're staying. It's kind of funny because, you know, I go through eBay auctions a lot trying to figure out what to post on the CAF and share there, and there's a ton of Garbage Pail Kid artwork, you know, that they still are putting out there.
When I was a kid, I remember they would sell these. I mean, there was a bunch of different sort of card packs that you could buy, but ones that I definitely remember buying and collecting was a series of cards that were all Basil Wolverton, you know, crazy faces,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just amazing. And I'm just like, you know, I mean, I was, you know, 8 or 9 or something, so. I mean, they're all gone now, but I definitely would love to have those back.
Yeah, I don't think I have that set. I used to have a couple of, gosh, where was it? I don't know. They're probably not easily accessible and all in my mess here, but where, you know, with the guys in the big muscle cars, you know, sitting on top.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what that's. Yeah, yeah.
Too. I bought those too. Totally.
I have like a set of those somewhere around here, and I've got my you know, full sheet of Wacky Pack stickers on the wall. So
yeah.
Yeah, and that, you know, that art's pretty collectible, you know, still this day. It doesn't come out on the market too often, but there's a group of collectors that you know, basically arm wrestle whenever a piece of Wacky Package artwork hits the market.
Now that was Art Spiegelman did those, or he was the art director for it or something, or.
You know, I don't know who the art director was on that. I'm sure somebody in the audience will tell us. But
I think that's maybe right, but I'm, you know.
But I look at it every day because it brings me joy.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I get that. But so yeah, so there's always, yeah, that's the thing there. There are so many different avenues for illustrators today, you know, as far as opportunities. It's just there's probably a lot more illustrators out there though that are looking for the same work. But hey, totally. You've always got your music though. Remember that.
Yeah, I'll make a gang of money off of that for sure.
You still play though, right?
Well, I do. I haven't played out in a band setting since before the pandemic.
Okay.
But I am, fingers crossed, going to get back to it at some point. But my wife is a doctor, so I catch a massive earful about, you know, how we still got the COVID going on. So
right. Well, and that's good. You have a desk job then at home.
Exactly.
So, well, you know, we might as well dive into the art sale, I think, because we've got artworks that we didn't have before. So there's certain things that we can talk about with regards to those pieces, and some pages, some storylines we have, you know, same from the first one with some more Marvel Adventure pieces and some Ninja Turtles as well. But now we've got some Firebreather artwork. We've got what is it, 3 Worlds, 3 Moons that we were talking about before the show, and a few other things. So yeah, I don't have my slides prepped for everybody, but I'll just get, yeah, many of you are already familiar with how we do these sale shows here on the channel. I mean, I've got all the artwork, so, you know, the artwork ships right from here. We expect payment in 48 hours. You know, that's the best way to do for us, because I like to get the art out soon, and it is the holidays right now, so that's something to consider. I shipped some artwork out right after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, and a couple of the pieces still haven't arrived. It's like I sent 2 to California. One of them arrived, the other one still hasn't, you know. And another one that went to New Jersey from here just was delivered today. So shipping is, so I want to get things in the mail early. The further away from Christmas I can be, the better.
That's true. Yeah, anytime, like I told you, anytime I ship artwork anywhere, I am just like on pins and needles until I, get the confirmation.
It is the worst part of selling artwork online. I'll say that. I mean, the packing's, is what it is. But then, waiting for it to be delivered is another thing. But so payment can be made by Zelle, by Venmo. I even take personal check if you can get them in the mail on Mondays. I mean, in those methods, we don't charge any kind of service fee. If you have to pay by PayPal, we do have to put a small service fee on there as well. Shipping in the U.S. is $30, international $65. I ship everything in Masonite, so it's very well protected, but it is expensive to ship these days as well. Do I take wires, Marcus? I'd prefer not to take wires, actually, but because wires require fees as well, and they kind of vary based on the bank and whether it's international or not. And at least with my bank, I get charged a wire fee, so I'd rather not do wires if I can avoid it. But thanks for asking. So yeah, let's just dive into the art sale. Like I said, we've got 36 pieces of art to look at today. So lots of variety. And we're going to start off with something that I wasn't familiar with. Lot number 1 is from that 3 Worlds, 3 Moons storyline that you had worked on a little bit. This is on 11x17. And tell us a little bit about this one, because I wasn't able to get, like a copy of the printed image for this.
So, 3 Worlds, 3 Moons is Jonathan Hickman's Substack sort of Dune-esque epic fantasy, and it's Jonathan Hickman and Mike Huddleston and Mike I can't think of the other guy's name, but they're both amazing artists. But so those 2 guys design all the characters and everything. But then they have a lot of different artists who do various stories. And I did a 10-page story called Arena. And I really don't know how it fits into the, I'm sure I know it fits into the larger picture somehow, but I don't know because I haven't read the whole thing. But it was a really amazingly fun. It was a fun piece to work on, and all the stories are done in a more like a magazine format, sort of 8.5 by 11, instead of the sort of more thinner and shorter comics format.
Okay. Well, that explains the way you have it gridded out on the 11x17.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these were effectively published on Substack and then combined into a printed volume as well. So this was lot 1, and lot 2 is also from the same storyline that you did. Both of these were priced $350. But yeah, but no, this is fun. And I look at this. This is like those arena battles from the Mars Attacks page we had back in August.
It was totally, I mean, that's like it's definitely a trope, but it was a fun thing to draw. Basically the idea was that the arena that they are fighting in is actually the mouth of this giant sort of worm creature or something. So what could go wrong?
Right, exactly. Marvin mentions Hickman, Huddleston, and Mike Del Mundo.
Del Mundo, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marvin.
I'm a huge fan of all them dudes. They're all amazing.
And you were paid well to do this, and that's always a good thing.
Yes, my highest page rate of any comics work I've done, running away.
That's great. You need more gigs like that, man.
I do.
So
if you could hook me up with a bunch more gigs like that.
Hey, if I hear of anything, I will send those leads your way, Andy.
All right, thank you so much.
And I probably should have told everybody I didn't follow any real guidelines here as far as the order I did the art. They're all grouped by title, and I actually did them alpha. That's why the number 3 starts us off here, because we're going to switch over to a couple pieces from DC next. Lot 3 is from DC Comics Presents Batman. Just to clarify that from volume 2 of that issue, number 1, and this is page 22 from that. It's got Batman slugging some guy with a camera.
Yeah, this was a story that was part of the Julius Schwartz tribute that they did after Julius Schwartz, the famous longtime editor at DC Comics. And after he passed away, they did a 6-issue sort of tribute to him. And one of the things he was famous for was he would have an artist draw up a crazy cover, a crazy idea for a cover, and then he would tell a writer, make this story. And so the 6-issue thing was like done exactly that way, I think, with six different covers, and then each issue had 2 stories by 2 different teams doing the story of that cover. So the cover that was on our issue was by Adam Hughes, and it was quite lovely because Adam Hughes,
of course.
But the writer on it was Len Wein, who's an awesome guy who I only got to work with once.
And these are from 2004. We have another page from this book as well. This one's pretty fun. It's got Batman and Robin duking it out with Two-Face on top of a bus, until Robin, of course, gets kicked off the bus and Two-Face gets away. But yeah, this is a fun page. I really like the layout on this one.
Thank you, sir. The whole thing was very fun to draw. That's the only time I've ever gotten to draw Batman for a comic.
Now, your story about Schwartz, though, I guess that explains why we got so many crazy stories out of DC back in the day.
Oh yeah. I mean, all those 1960s era covers where it would be Superman in a diaper, with a binky and Superman's a baby now or some crazy crap. And
exactly.
Then, I mean, that's the kind of thing that he was sort of famous for, was just coming up with a crazy cover idea, and then now you go tell that story. Right.
Yeah, that's that I think is the reason I think I was always turned off by DC. They always had just the wackiest covers, Superman looking in a mirror at his skinny self, or God only knows what else. He's fighting a pink elephant. How could this be? So, I
have to say, as I get older, I definitely have a lot of affection for those real wacky comics.
That's all right. It's because I never read them. It's just I don't know. I guess I could say it's amusing when I look at them today. So next, the 4 pieces we have next are character design pieces that you did for the Batman versus Ninja Turtle animated film, right?
I was a character designer on Batman Meets the Ninja Turtles animated movie. And basically that just meant a few weeks of work of just sitting and doing, a bunch of drawings of these characters. Mm-hmm. And I sort of assumed that they wanted me to, because I have an animation background. Like before I was in comics full time, I worked at an animation studio in Indianapolis for 4 years. So I assumed they wanted just a simple dead line like animation hold line is. Mm-hmm. And I started sending stuff like that, and they were like, no, we want your brush line, And like, really? What's and so I mean, I guess they just wanted they wanted to somehow sort of catch the vibe of my drawings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, I definitely had people tell me after the movie came out that that they recognized my style in the animation. So that's kind of that's all right.
Yeah, I did not see the movie, but I saw when I was
Oh, it's
Googling.
fun.
I saw some of the toys that were made from it, and they were like spot on to your drawings. I was like, wow, that is pretty cool that they actually were, you know, interested in keeping your aesthetic with you know, with the characters. So we'll go ahead and show these 4 pieces. Let's see here. We have a Batgirl character design from that. These are on 9x12, just so everybody knows. These are priced, and they're all priced at $200 too. So this is lot number 5 with Batgirl on it. And again, if you look at the toy from this thing, it's like spot on. You'd think it was the exact same image. I was surprised.
I've seen a couple of toys. I haven't seen nobody sends me nothing. So
see,
but,
that's criminal, man. You should be, every time you do something like this, if they make a toy or a comic, you got to be getting you know, some comp pieces from it.
You would think,
especially when they specifically wanted your style as part of you know, the animation. So that's peculiar.
I don't know, but and also so these pieces are all drawn on that glossy cardstock that I like to draw on sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's true. I should have mentioned that too. Yeah, these are on, yep. Yeah, they are. Well, here I'll switch over to my camera just for a second, and I can full screen so we can see. Let's see, where was the bat? There we go. So yeah, so these are on. You can see it's a little bit reflective. We had some pieces that were done on this cardstock the last time we had John Andy as well. So, and I think, like you said, it just takes the ink in a way that works really well for you as far as the way you like to work.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass to work on because because it's slow to dry, but it just takes the ink in a really cool way for me. Most people I know are just like, "Oh, you are crazy. Stop doing that." But I like it.
There you go. And I was just going to answer Diggin 1955's question, but Marcus has done that. You can see on every slide we showed today, we have a lot number on there. So if you see a piece of art you want to buy, just type the word claim and the lot number after it, so we know which piece you're looking to claim. And you're going to email me after the show, and I'll arrange payment and shipping for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at these other 3 pieces from here, because I know you had we got a Batman character design, which again, you know, was pretty much spot on the way the toy ended up looking too. So you know, I just think that's pretty awesome, man. That they wanted you for the look and feel that you could bring to the story.
I was as shocked as anyone that they called me, but they did a great job. It really, it's a fun little movie and it turned out great.
Now you had worked on the Turtles before that, right? So that probably had.
Oh yeah. That had
to have had a little bit.
That they had seen my Turtles work, and that was why, you know, they got a hold of me in the first place.
Right. So lot 7 is Donatello, obviously, and then lot 8 we got Leo. Look at that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, well that kind of makes sense. You know, the Turtles are the ones that are going to be the harder character to probably animate and come up with a look and feel that people like. So that they like your style, they figure you can also handle the Bat universe at the same time.
Well, I mean, I felt really privileged to be able to do it, and it was a cool thing. A cool thing to have to be a part of. Have you seen the new Turtles movie?
I have not. I know it's on one of my streaming services too. So
I haven't seen it either, but I've seen like universal praise for it. So I hope it's great.
I mean, I've seen clips and everything from it. It looks fantastic. So I'm kind of,
I like the style that they.
I should put it on in the background and watch it. You know, tonight. It's because it's one of these days it won't be out there for me to watch anymore. But yeah, I've been wanting to see it for a long time. It looked funny. Yeah, I'm all into that. So next up, we have 5 pieces from Firebreather, and the thing is, yeah, I know. So so those of you who know, you're familiar with Firebreather, you know it's a pretty popular animated show. It's something that Andy worked on with Phil Hester. I think we talked a little bit about that back in the day, at least the story about how it kind of came about, and how it ended up getting published. But you've never offered any of the artwork for sale from any of your work from that series, right?
No, I have not. I basically have all the up till now. I have all the artwork from Firebreather, and just sort of checking to see if there's any interest out there. But yeah, so it was a comic book that Phil and I worked on. Phil Hester and I worked on in the early 2000s, and then Cartoon Network made it into an animated movie directed by Peter Chung, which is amazing to me. In 2010, we were hoping the movie was made as what's called a backdoor pilot. So it was they were hoping to make it into a TV show, but my impression is that none of the toy companies that they approached were interested in making Firebreather toys, and that's a huge part of their their business model at Cartoon Network.
Right.
So between that and the fact that it was like their first real CGI animated action show, and I think it wound up being more expensive than they sort of expected it to be, I guess. So they decided to put that money into a Green Lantern series instead.
Well, that's unfortunate, but we all know those marketing tie-ins that everybody likes to have these days. But there was a comment. Robin mentions, Andy, please say that you're going to come back with more Firebreather content soon.
Well, so I don't know about soon, but we are. I'm very hopeful that we can finish up the story that we set out to tell. So I can't say it's going to happen anytime soon, but we definitely want to do it.
All right. Well,
when our schedules can collide.
Well, Phil's a busy guy.
He is.
But as for a project like this, I'm sure he'll make time one way or another. So let's dive into the art, right? Let's take a look at lot number 9. So this is from Firebreather 3, page 6 on 11 by 17, and I pulled up the color. I thought this, the book was colored really, really well. I love the color palette choices on this one. So this page is priced $650. This is the issue before he got his wings, I believe. So yes. Yeah, I mean, this just well done. A really, really nice page.
Yeah, the colors are by my buddy Bill Crabtree, who is just an amazing colorist, and I met him. I moved here to Albuquerque, and like within the first month or so, I did a signing at a comic shop, and he came in and had some color samples with him, and I was like, "Wow, you're great, dude. Why aren't you coloring everything?" So we struck out a friendship, and he colored this. This was kind of like his real first. I think he'd done a little bit of smaller stuff, but I think this was like his first real, serious comics work. He killed it.
Definitely. Well, and you did too. I mean, I think you know, the work on this thing is great, and I'm sure you know when you were working with this with Phil, I'm sure it felt, you know, like this is your baby, man, you know, and you had to give it your all, and you certainly did.
Yeah.
I think that this is a fantastic
all,
page.
All hand lettered by me on the boards. You don't see that anymore.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. That's true. No, you do not get that any longer. But let's take a look at lot 10 too, because this is it's a little more expensive, but this is from issue 4, page 8, so it's $850. Lot 10 on 11 by 17, but this is literally he got his wings, I think, the page before this one, and you know, this is kind of an Orville Wright moment where he's not quite sure of himself, but you get this, you know, that great splash of him in the third panel. It's just fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
So I assume, you know, when you're working on a project like this, I mean, you know, and we talked about this the other day, you know, the first couple issues, you know, he's basically evolving. So yeah, you had the whole thing really worked out, I would imagine, as far as like how he's going to look and feel. And you probably, you know, I assume you probably had to have all that done before you even started the first page from issue 1.
Well, I mean, Phil and I sort of had a long gestation period, you know, where we were, because initially we had pitched this book to Marvel. So the story of Firebreather is about a kid who is half human and half dragon, and his parents have shared custody that's overseen by the government. So his mom is trying to keep him in school and make sure he gets his grades, and his dad, who is essentially Godzilla, is trying to teach him to be the king of the monsters. But when we originally were thinking about making it, we had pitched it to Marvel as a kid who is the sort of half son of Fin Fang Foom, who is a massive dragon in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, Marvel liked the idea, but they were really involved in sort of retooling all their mainline characters, and they really were not interested in any kind of new idea or whatever.
Right.
And we both thought the idea was strong enough that we should, you know, just because Marvel doesn't want to do it doesn't mean it can't get done. So we remade it as you know, as its own thing, and thank you, Image Comics, for publishing it.
Exactly. So let's see here. So it was this is 10. We'll go ahead and switch over to 11 here. And this was a published pinup gallery piece from the series. So this one's priced at $650. It's a little smaller board on 10 by 15.
Yeah.
But nicely done there. I mean, pinups were a thing. And they still are a thing, I guess.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. So this was from the first trade paperback, and it's just my little, you know, entry to the gallery of pinups. And yes, we had one of the pinups was by my buddy who just passed, Keith Giffen, and I got to ink it, and I am forever grateful to have had that. That's a piece I won't be selling.
Oh, I don't blame you. I've never picked up anything by Keith, and I'm kicking myself now because it's going to be even harder to get. But yeah, you got Hester working on, you know, doing a piece in there. Larson, Ringo in there too. So
I got to ink the Ringo piece too, which was another another piece I'm never parting with. But yeah, I worked with Keith on 3 or 4 different projects, and man, I'm just such a huge fan of that guy. I mean, especially his work on Trencher, the Image series. It's so just pure cartooning. You know, I mean, it's just amazing style. I used to always every time I would see him at a show, I would bend his ear about, you know, hey, you should go back to that trencher style. And he was always like, hell no. I was like, why not? Apparently, all his hardcore fans hated that stuff, but I don't.
But you were a hardcore fan, so you can't say all of the hardcore fans hated it. But
okay, well, I mean, enough hardcore fans hated it that he felt compelled to be angry that I would even suggest that he went back to trencher style.
Mm-hmm.
but his whole career was just like one long, you know, style shift. I mean, he had a bunch of different styles over the course of his career.
No, I agree. But yeah, I'd love to get a Legion page one day.
Totally.
That would be my that would be my dream.
That's beautiful stuff.
So let's see. So lot 12 is next. We got 2 more pages from Firebreather. This is from Firebreather Iron Saint. This was more. This is after the initial run. This is done on a smaller board, 8.5 by 14. It's page 14 from that. And I have to say, I did see a comment from Brian. He said he loved your Rex Mantooth, and we do have a couple pages from Rex Mantooth.
Bless you, Brian. Thank you. But yeah, so this was a one shot that we did, square-bound one shot that we did that came out after the initial miniseries, and it was a really tight deadline, so I wound up drawing the pages smaller just to be able to save time.
Mm-hmm.
But still hand lettered on the board. So,
well, like Alberto said earlier, we all enjoy seeing the hand lettering. So this is the last page that we have from that. Yeah, again, just great stuff, man. I mean, I love that last panel and just the lead up to it from the first 3 above it. You know, so well done.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the storyline in this one was like it's about his high school goes on a field trip to England, and he winds up in the middle of this sort of crazy a fight with this crazy magical knight, and Alan Moore appears in the comic, although he's not named Alan Moore, but I drew him to look like Alan Moore.
So say, did he willingly go for that?
I hope he'd be okay with it.
All right. Well, this one's still out there. Let's take a look at. We've got a couple pages from a Joker book that you did, Joker Last Laugh. This is from issue 4, page 6, and we've got this price of $250. And was this the only issue from this storyline that you did?
So yeah, it was a 6-issue story that I think every issue was drawn by a different artist.
Okay.
But the whole thing was written by Chuck Dixon, and it was super fun. I think the storyline was somehow the Joker sort of had Jokerfied all these other DC supervillains, and they were just causing major havoc. And a lot of my issue was set on Easter Island.
Oh yeah, that's right. On the second panel, or the second page we have here, you can see one of the statues in the background. But they had a volleyball net on the beach.
This is his Joker's God, who's that World War II general?
MacArthur?
Yes, this is his MacArthur moment.
Yeah, haven't thought about that in a while. My world history that I took back in high school is finally coming back and paying dividends here.
He shall return.
All right, so both of these are lots 14 and 15, priced at $250 on 11 by 17. Now, what are we switching into now? Oh, that's right. We have a bunch of Marvel pieces to go through here for Marvel Adventures. I know we had a few of those from the last time we did a show. So we got lot 16 up first. This is from Marvel Adventures issue 1, page 20 on 11 by 17. So you got Hulk, you got Leader in there. I mean, it's nice, nice oversized. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, the Hulk is has never been so muscular as you did it here. I mean, he's a brute in this piece.
Thank you. The Hulk is my guy. Like, of any, like if I got the chance to draw mostly any Marvel character, it would probably be the Hulk that I'd want to choose, just because I like drawing big bulky characters. They're super fun.
No, well, you got it here. I saw that Mr. Redjack said I earned that B in history. I did. I was never a straight A student. I hate to say it, but I tried. But so how did you get the gig in Marvel Adventures?
So I had been working in animation and went up to put together some samples and went up to Chicago Comic-Con. This was probably in '94, I want to say. And I had already like a year or two before, I had met Jeff Smith, and I ran into him up there, and I showed him my samples works, and he was super nice. Didn't have to do it, but he took me around to a bunch of editors that he knew and just said, "Hey, you should look at this guy." And one of the guys that he introduced me to was a Marvel editor named Bob Budiansky. And he was nice. He took my work and said, "Yeah, we'll get back with you." And shockingly, a month later, somebody from Marvel called and asked if I wanted to do like a 6-page Spider-Man story or Spider-Man adventure story. And I was like, yes. And then sort of, I kept getting little dribs and drabs of work from Marvel and other places. But then when Marvel Adventures came along, they offered me the book. It was basically like, I mean, up to that point, I was still working animation, and then I was basically doing two gigs at once. But there was no way I could do both at the same time, so I had to quit my animation job and sort of hope that I was going to keep getting work somewhere.
Well, but, you stayed pretty busy after that point.
I have been lucky.
So 16 still out there, $300. We got lot 17 next. This was the title page to Marvel Adventures 8. So page 1 on this one, and it's the X-Men in the Danger Room. You get Beast, Gambit, Storm. You can get Professor X in silhouette, I imagine, up there. It looks like he has a bald head. So this is on 11 by 17. We priced this one at $600. And yeah, as an X fan, I always like seeing work from this era. So nicely done. And again, that as a title, this had to be fun to work on because you got to work on with different characters all the time.
Oh, totally. It was I mean, that there's really, I mean, I'm hard pressed to think of a Marvel character that I haven't gotten to draw just because of that book. I got to draw at least all the main ones that I was interested in drawing for the most part. just because every issue was a different character or whatever. Although every two or three issues it would be the X-Men.
Well, it had to be.
Yeah,
that's how you sold books, man.
That's that's the franchise. Totally.
So 17's out there at 600. We've got let's see, lot 18 is next. You got Gladiator all over this one.
Mm-hmm.
And Gladiator obviously is he's pretty tough too. So this one we have priced at $300. It's from issue 10, page 6. Really fun piece as well.
Thank you so much. That was that whole series was super fun.
See, I always get ridiculed for Cyclops, Andy. So that's why Mr. Red Jack asked, "Where is Cyclops? Is he hiding in the closet?" No, he wasn't. He was probably committing adultery somewhere. Like he usually was very good at. Ruining his own marriages left and right throughout his tenure as leader of the X-Men.
Man,
yeah, it's tough, man.
Give a guy a break.
Exactly. He was just trying to have a good time.
He's got beams shooting out of his eyes. He can't do everything right.
Exactly. Thank you, Andy. I tend to get no sympathy for my appreciation for Cyclops here, but so this is lot 18, and we also have what was it? Lot 20. We have another X-Men related page. This is from Marvel Adventures 15. So you get Gambit and Wolverine all over this one. Nice half splash, nice vertical splash with Gambit in there, tossing some cards. So that's always fun. So we had this one priced at $400. But yeah, you pretty much got to draw everybody.
Yeah, I did. It was fun. I was looking through. So I'm a huge Eric Larson fan. I was looking through some Savage Dragon a week ago, and like I have those the big thick black and white phone books or whatever that he printed of his entire series, and I was sort of thinking, like, I wonder how many times that Eric Larson has drawn this layout. I mean, the one tall panel on the side and a stack of panels on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
He has done that. I mean, you could probably print up two trade paperbacks of the number of times he has done that one layout, and it's always great.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like most illustrators have their penchant for either page layouts or certain poses.
Oh yeah,
Gil Kane with his nose. I mean, there's
and these hands.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I always imagine that like if I met artists that they would do their hands like they draw them like Steve Ditko would be,
Mm-hmm. That is true. It's like the Kirby hand. It's always like that. But of course, my fingers can't get bigger. Like he would draw them, but same kind of
squared off.
Exactly. Yes, they're squared off at the end. Well, that's just how it goes, man. You get used to that's your style. But page layout is something that a lot of think about Neil Adams. The way he was always trying to break the page layouts with diagonal things coming in, and I mean, it's just part of their signature look and feel. So that was the last Marvel Adventure piece we had. Now we've got, this is a one-off. There's only one of these, and maybe for a reason. This is a Mr. Monster Amazing Heroes swimsuit issue from pinup from 1992. So, and this is done all on duo shade. I didn't note that on here, but we've all seen a lot of duo shade pieces. That we've shown here on the channel and talked about the challenges of working with duo shade. But I mean, was that a requirement when you got this gig, and how did you get this job in the first place?
It was basically just a piece that I did and sent into them, and then they wound up using it. It was, but it wasn't. Duo shade was not required or anything. I just around that time I sort of had a brief flirtation with duo shade, and I was really fascinated with it, but it was just too expensive for me to, at the time anyway, to use it on, you know, on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
But and now sort of Photoshop has kind of made duo shade obsolete, but it really was a kind of an amazing magic trick whenever you would brush on the developer, and all of a sudden, you know, this zipatone pattern would just show up. Super cool.
Yep, definitely. So that's interesting, though. That so you basically sent it in. They weren't asking for calls for submissions for a swimsuit issue. You just did it, and it worked.
I think they were maybe asking for submissions. I'm not sure. I just knew I knew they did those swimsuit issues.
Yeah.
And I just thought I can do that.
Well, it worked.
Yeah.
Did he borrow Captain America's underwear? It does look like that, Mr. Red Jack. So all right, so this was in Amazing Heroes in 1992, price of $250. There is a tentacle sighting. That's true. There's another trope here on the channel. So lot 22 is kind of out of place, but I was going alphabetically through here. We got Old Man Logan as a 9x12 pinup. This is done in the glossy stock that we showed earlier when we were looking at those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Batman character designs. So this is on 9x12, priced at $150.
This was just a piece that I did when I had some downtime at a comic show, and I still like it. So.
Oh, he definitely is an old man in this one. So next up, I know we had somebody mention that they're a fan of your Rex Mantooth. So we've actually got 2 pages from Rex Mantooth to show off next. So lot 23 is from I think I got the issue number wrong, didn't I? I think this was issue 8. Yes, it was issue 8. I have it backwards. It's issue 8, page 1. So yeah, my dyslexia coming into play.
The book. So this comic sort of appeared in it was an Image comic. I'm pretty sure it was called Double Image, and it was basically like a flip book, and so it had two covers and an 11-page story, you know, 2 11-page stories in it. And so Rex Mantooth, Kung Fu Gorilla appeared in 3 issues of that book. So, and I think this was the first one. I'm not sure. But I mean, it's issue number 8, but I'm pretty sure this was the first appearance.
Very cool. And Matt Fraction writing on this.
Fraction's first comic book writing work. Right there on the page, hand lettered by me.
Man, it's history. It is history without question. And this was a title I'd heard of, but I'd never read. And it's a very fun read. Jim McLaughlin also speaks very highly of it. It's real stupid.
But it's real fun.
Stupid in a good way. So this is the first page we had from that, and then the other page, is equally fun. I mean, you literally get the girl with the chainsaw cleaving a zombie right down the middle, from the top of his head right through his abdomen there. So yeah,
what's not to love?
Exactly. I mean, it was a good read, definitely. So I fixed the page number on this one. So this one is from the same issue 8, and this is page 10 from that book. But yeah, no, this is great. Really, really fun. And I remember, this kind of came up when after our last show, we actually had someone email us and ask about whether or not you had any of the pages from this. Mm-hmm. And you did. So we sold a few pages after the last show. And I guess, it's probably a good thing to mention here. You do have a lot of your work still. So if there's things that people are interested in that you're not seeing here today, obviously you can just shoot me an email, bill@comicartfans.com, and I'll forward that over to Andy, and we'll see what if you may have something, because you haven't sold a lot. That was the one thing.
I have had a varied and dumb career. So
I
there's
wouldn't call it.
a lot of weird stuff in my stacks.
Well, but weird, but but again, you've worked with Ninja Turtles, obviously. You've gotten the high profile gigs there as well, and then some offbeat stuff. But the thing is, outside of going to shows, you've really not marketed your artwork for sale to the masses. Yeah. So that's why you have a lot laying around, and that's why if people have something that they're interested in, you can always ask us, and we can dig it out or plan to bring it to the next show, or we're always game to show off some new work here. Now we are switching gears again here after Rex Man 2. That's actually going back to Marvel here. I think lot 25 is from Spider-Man Unlimited #1. So we've got a few pages from this, even a DPS coming up. But this is from issue 1, page 12, priced at $350. So this one's on 11x17, and this one kind of mirrored the animated show that was out at the same time, right?
Yes. So this was it was a animated show on Fox. And it was basically Spider-Man accidentally gets knocked out on a space shuttle or something, and winds up on Earth 2 on the other side of the sun, which is the Earth that is run by the High Evolutionary. And there is a sort of caste system where all the half human, half animals run everything, and then all the humans on this Earth are sort of like, downtrodden underdogs, and Spider-Man with this his new Spider-Man costume sort of joins forces with some of these rebels to fight against the High Evolutionary. And the comic book that we did was not direct adaptations of episodes, but it was set in the same milieu, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was super fun.
Oh, heck yeah. And, great panel layout on here as well. And then we have another page from issue 1's page 16. And you get Spidey in action swinging around the city on this one, too. So another fun page. Both these were priced at $350 on 11x17. And what year was this? I know it's got the Marvel stamp on the back, but yeah, no date.
I'm saying that's maybe
I should have checked that before.
98 maybe, or 99.
Okay.
I'm just basing. I'm like looking at the way I drew on this and sort of guessing on that.
So based on your style of the
based
day.
on how my work is developed, but I could be completely wrong about that.
Mm-hmm. No, well, you would probably know better than we would, but yeah, I could Google it, but I'll do it after the show. What do we got next here? Lot 27 is also from this series. I've got another page too. This is from issue 2 though, and it's a DPS. It's pages 2 and 3. So you get kind of one of the Chrysler Building eagles kind of up there as a symbol there on the second page on the right. And then you get 6 panels with Spidey there on the left as well. So this is 22x17, since it's 2 11x17s, and they are taped together, joined.
And that would look really cool framed on your wall.
It would,
because of the design. I'm still happy with that page today.
No, I agree. It's very well done. I like the cityscape there in those first 3 panels, and the way you kind of carry that over in the other 3 as well. Just worked out really good. And you get the splash with Spidey on page 3. So let's. Oh, there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Derek. 1 through 4 were all released in 1999, and 5 in early 2000.
There you go.
I appreciate that. And actually, speaking of issue 5, I think that's the other piece we have. Yeah, it's from issue 5, page 10, and he's fighting that Earth 2 Wolverine here. So,
yeah, well, the Wolverine in this story was like a hyper feral Wolverine, so he was super fun to draw.
Oh yeah, no, he's got the you know, the non-adamantium claws coming out of it.
That was the big deal at the time, I think. So we were trying to follow the, you know, trying to follow the what was going on in the rest of Marvel Universe, but also just to me it looks way more sort of crazy and wild, you know.
Nope, that's brings out the animal M when you do that. So so this is lot 28 at 400, and I did see Greg McKee has picked up the Mr. Monster on the Duo Shade board. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Greg.
Let's see.
You will be remembered in my will.
But yeah, but the page with the more interesting story that you just gave it a shot and it got published. Let's see here. So this was lot 28. So lot 20. Okay, we're going to move into some turtle artwork next. So let's see here. So lot 29 is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 13, page 20. These are on a little smaller than 11 by 17. They're on 10 by 16. This one's priced at $500. And you know, it's a really nicely done page. I mean, you know, your style works really well with the turtles, and you know, you get a bit of action here. A broken bottle. They're gonna be throwing it down any second now.
This is Raph about to beat the ass of Casey Jones's dad, who apparently had been beating his son, and Raph found out about it and was just incensed, and he's about to do something about it.
Well, and what is it? He was reading Cat Fancy magazine.
I don't know if that it's low enough on the page that I'm not sure it actually made the made the thing, but I thought it was funny.
Oh, I see on the bleed line, that is off the bleed line.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, this one is lot 29, priced at $500. And let's see, next page from Ninja Turtles. This is page 14 from issue 14. Same size board, 10 by 16. And you know, a bit of a quiet moment. But boy, they have a lot of art on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
At the comic, are they at a comic shop in that? Is that what we had a long box?
They were in their sort of hideout was like a sort of a junk shop type scenario at that time, and so I mean those are definitely comic boxes, but it was just basically this, you know, just put all kinds of crazy stuff in the background was the mandate.
Well, it worked. They're reading. It looks like they're reading the comic book too in there. The last panel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this one is lot 30, priced at $400 from issue 14, and then I think the next one is from issue 14 as well. Same scene, yeah, page 15. So this is sequential here, pages 14 and 15, and they're still hashing out whatever it was, and we don't know what they were reading though. It ended with an ER though in the title.
Oh man. I am sure that I had
something in mind.
Yeah. I don't remember now. Sorry. Apologies. Old man brain.
Not a problem. But another good page here. So this is was lot 31 at $400, and then we have one other or two other. Let's see, lot 32. This is from issue 16, page 19, and
you get some pizza. Come on.
Yes, you get pizza, and you get Splinter in there as well.
Uh-huh.
But it's a somber moment, it looked like. Woody doesn't want to. Woody didn't want to hang out with them anymore because they're just too dangerous.
These kids, they're always roughhousing and getting into trouble. I don't know what you see in those turtles, son.
But yeah, no, it's fine. Rupert's Pizzeria and Mikester. Is that what it said? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, so we got lot 32 here now. Let's see, what are the next two pieces? Next two pieces are from this was some work that got you work at the end of the day. I believe this is unpublished work, but lot 33 is from a Wolverine Predator pitch that you were making for to a couple different publishers to try to get some interest.
So this was probably man, I'm gonna say probably around the time, but prior to that, to the Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, even the Spider-Man. Okay, I thought you were gonna say Mr. Monster.
No, no, this is definitely after that.
Okay,
this was after I was working in comics, but I was sort of like still trying to drum up work. So I my genius idea was to do Wolverine versus Predator, because then I could send those samples off to two different companies, Marvel and Dark Horse. And I also I thought it was a kind of a cool obvious pairing, but I just thought I was going through my stacks and I found those, and I was like, oh yeah, they're actually doing a Wolverine versus Predator miniseries right now, and I am assuming that it is because of my set of 4 sample pages, which somebody saw in the mid to late 90s.
I have to believe that is correct, man. I mean, they were sitting on it, but they wanted to wait for a certain time period to pass so that you couldn't claim ownership of the storyline.
Yeah, well, of course I could claim ownership of it because I own all these characters.
Yeah. See, but you could have done like Wolverine and Batman and went after Marvel and DC, but Dark Horse was on your radar at the time.
Well, on top of that, it just seemed like a more obvious pairing, than Wolverine and Batman. But
Sure.
But it was also I think I was really trying to I was driving hard to the hoop with Dark Horse at the time, I think. So yeah.
Well, they were pretty popular at that point, so I can see why you would like to get your foot in the door there.
Mm-hmm.
So both of these are unpublished tryout pages. I showed 34 here and a reminder on 33. You can see that you get a little beheading down there too, hanging on the Predator's hip. So that's 33 and 34, and then we only got 2 more pages to look at, and these are DC pages.
You make it sound so cute. Just a little beheading.
Well, that's another trope here on the channel is beheadings. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, one of the dealers that we work with loves to send me as many pictures of beheadings as he can.
Wow.
Because we were doing a variant book cover for the Dueling Dealers, that show we do, and I got to pick what I wanted on mine. One of the other dealer picked what he wanted on his. And when the third dealer said what he wanted to do on his, he wanted all of our heads cut off. I'm like, and I'm like, that isn't funny. We were all trying to make something funny, and he thought it was, and he's like, no, it is funny. And we're like, no. So we vetoed it, 2 against 1. We were like, you cannot do a beheading cover of us because it's just not humorous. And I was serious at the time. I kind of look at it now and I feel kind of stupid. Like maybe it might have been funny if we were all beheaded, but yeah. So ever since that time, every time he gets comic book in.
Here's the thing: it sort of depends on who draws it. Like if Hillary Barta drew it, it would probably be hilarious,
right?
Right.
And it was we were working with Dynamite, and Ken Hazer has kind of a fun comical style, so he would have been the one that would have drawn, would have done it. But even then, I was just like, no, I mean, we're like the stars of the show. It's not funny to kill us, and he was just all and I think he was mad. So yeah, so literally every day I tend to get one text from him where he sees a comic book cover, you know, Conan cover with a beheading on it. He just sends it to me over and over and over again. It's something different. So just
here's a head.
Exactly. And so I think we did a show where I took his head off, you know, just intentionally in one of the memes, just to get him back. But
Nice.
yeah. But so we got two more pieces here to look at, though. We got and they're DC, and let me pull up lot 35 here. So this is from Young Justice, No Man's Land. This was issue 1, and we couldn't remember.
It was a one shot. It was a.
Oh, it was a one shot. Okay.
Like an annual or something, I think. Or I mean, it was their Young Justice's sort of tie-in with the whole massive No Man's Land storyline. But it was just a one shot with a sweet Scott McDaniel cover too.
Oh, I love Scott's work.
He has a website which I used to frequent where he has all these little tutorials for how he makes comics, and they're super informative. But one of the parts is where he's talking about how to make a cover, and the cover that he uses as an example on his website is the cover from this issue.
Oh, cool.
It is. It was fun. It was a fun. This is another story written by Chuck Dixon, and had a bunch of cool characters in it. This is Lagoon Boy, created by Eric Larson to be part of the Aquaman universe.
I was just going to ask you to remind me what the name of that kid is. So it's Lagoon Boy.
That damn Lagoon Boy again.
And it does look like a Larson creation, so that doesn't surprise me. Mr. Redjack said we almost had an Aquaman sighting. It was a close one, Mr. Redjack, but no Aquaman on this page. Just Lagoon.
No, it's just old Lagoon Boy.
So the last page is from the same book, but this one has kind of the Young Justice team on it. So this is page 12 from that book on 11 by 17. So you get everybody on this one, or almost everybody, but Screaming Road Trip.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. These were not hand drawn on here. These were the word balloons are pasted on. Yep. Sorry, I should have looked at that beforehand. Even that Throom in the first piece was a pasted on word balloon. No, so yes, so the yep. No, I just wanted to make sure. Yep, they all are. So that's so from a guy that likes to do his own lettering. What's it like handling the lettering over to somebody else? Just kind of give them the space.
I mean, I've done. I mean, my general thought from starting working in comics was just learn how to do everything, because then you're not sort of beholden to anybody if you need to do it. But most of the work, so the hand lettering stuff that I've done, a lot of it has been for my own work, but most of the work I've done for like Marvel or DC, they already have a letterer in place, and a lot of times they would pair me with an inker or whatever. Like this story was inked by a guy named Chris Ivey.
Oh yeah,
who, super talented guy. I mean, he was definitely above my pay grade at the time. I think he was inking a bunch of like real bigger name guys, but he did an awesome job with me. So for me, I do miss like when I first started. I mean, you would have to send pages off to the letterer, and then they would get lettered, and then they would go to the inker after that. But and then if it was a time crunch, then they do like what they did here. This must have been, well, I don't know. I'm not sure what the reason was, but it could have been a time crunch.
That
But
doesn't look good.
I don't know. I like lettering on the board myself, but the way it, just it's kind of a lost art these days. For most people are lettering in in Photoshop or some other program.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to thank Mr. Redjack for picking up this lot 36 and lot 14, and I'll highlight 14 so everyone remembers which one that was. That was from Joker's Last Laugh. So thank you
so much.
Thank you, Mr. Redjack. We appreciate that a lot.
You will also be in my will.
And we did get a super chat question from Antoine. He wanted to know what types of brushes and pens do you prefer?
A lot of times it is just whatever's handy, but so these days I'm using sort of Faber-Castell Pitt pens and these Kuretake, it's like a brush tip marker, but then I also use I use a lot of these it's like a brush. It's got an actual brush tip, but it's got an ink reservoir, so I don't have to keep dipping, and I can just sit with one of these and just draw, so that's my those are my current brushes of choice. They're probably not the best. They're no Winsor Newton Series 7,
but they do the job.
They do get the job done.
Lord of Fleck said, does Andy have any designs on trying to get some Savage Sword work? I mean, we actually have a couple Conan pages in over in my calf gallery. The links are in the show description here on YouTube, and they're for sale, so you can see some.
I would love to do more of that. I got to draw one 8-page Conan story, and it was definitely a career highlight. Love me some Conan. I mean, I would really love to draw just about any Marvel or any Robert E. Howard character. Bran McMorn or Solomon Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon Kane's badass. Love that guy.
Yeah, definitely. I was just trying to share my screen. I can show off the one of the pages here from that. I'll highlight. Yeah, there we go. So that was one of the 2 Conan pages that you had. I thought that was awesome. And we did reduce. What's the price on this? We reduced this one's at $350. And what was the other Conan page? Let's see. Oh yeah, this one here. I mean, look at that. An axe to the chest. And this one's was it $275. So those ones you'd have to email me through my calf gallery if anybody was interested in those. But yeah, it's a good reminder that links in the show description. Go over to my calf. We've reduced the price on some of Andy's work that I have over there, and I've only got it for a week. So if you see anything over there that you like as well, hit me up that way, and we can work something out. And let's see. I think I might have missed a question or two here. Yeah. Mr. Redjack loves Conan, but not Conan O'Brien. Yep, we get that. And
I love them both. They're both tops for me.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So sorry, just trying to read through that. But so there's that, as far as what you can get over on the calf. And I'll just go through the slides really quickly of the pieces that are still available so everybody knows. what I want you to do is if you see anything you like, shoot me an email, bill@comicartfans.com, and I'll let you know if it's still available. We can work things out. I have all the artwork except for 3 of the Firebreather pieces because I had gotten 2 sent to me, and then Andy sent me scans for 3 of them. So I have everything but 3 in my possession and can get those out for you. But let's see. Let me switch through the lots here that we had. So we had a couple pages from 3 Worlds, 3 Moons. This is the first couple lots, and then we had those 2 Batman DC Comics Presents pages. And this one's
that's
really
really
nice.
cool. I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
And then we had the 4 character designs from the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we had Batgirl, we had Batman, Donnie, and Leo as our last 2 Ninja Turtles. We had the Firebreather pages. This is from from issue 3. This is from 4. We also had this pinup from one of the trade paperbacks. Had a pinup gallery in it, so this is from that. Then this is from Iron Saint with Firebreather, and we had another page from that same book right here. 14 was picked up by Mr. Redjack, so this was another page from Joker's Last Laugh, issue 4. And then what do we have here? Then we're switching over to the Marvel Adventure pieces from issue 1 with the Hulk and the Abomination, of course, and then issue 8 with the title page from that with X-Men and the Danger Room. And then we have lot 18 available as well. Gladiator, of course, on that one. Another X-Men character. And then we have the Wolverine and Gambit in lot 20. This one did sell. I have to thank Greg McKee for that. We appreciate it. That Duo Shade board. Then we have an Old Man Logan. Yes. Old Man Logan piece on 9x12. And then we had a couple Rex Mantooth pages. Very nicely done. And Spider-Man Unlimited. We got 4 pages from that. That was lot 25. We got lot 26 and 27. And the final one from issue 5 is lot 28, where he's fighting a feral Wolverine. And then our Ninja Turtle pages, we got this one's from issue 13, priced at $500. Lot 29, we have lot 30, priced at $4. 31 also priced at $4, and 32 priced at $4. And let me see here. Then we have 2 trial pages. That was Wolverine versus Predator pieces that clearly they ripped Andy off 25 years later or so.
I'm going to sue. I think I'm talking to a law firm. You
should. You definitely should. So here are the 2 pages from that. And then last page from Young Justice, No Man's Land. This one's priced at $250 and it's lot 35. So there we have it. So all those pages will end up going up on my calf gallery later tonight too. So we'll get those into the classifieds and pushed out to all the premium members who are on who get want list alerts. So we'll do that later today. So anybody sees anything later, you can feel free to email me or email me through CAF because the pieces will be up there as well. Andy, it's always fun getting to hang out, man. Obviously, we get to have a good time together. And
thank you so much for having me. And to all your audience, please buy more because I need to have top ramen on the table for Christmas.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Ramen is actually the food of choice here in our house. My 2 daughters make ramen every day, whether it's either for lunch or it's their before bed snack.
Nice.
They are ramen fiends. I don't know where they picked that up, but yeah, it is an everyday. It's like no joke. It is an everyday meal, and the thing is, they never even ask me if I want some. I mean, I wouldn't mind having it every once in a while. You think that, but I think they just got the idea that Dad never says yes, so now they just never ask.
Ramen is kind of like to me, it's kind of like pizza, where it's like great pizza is great, not so good pizza still pretty good.
Exactly.
Ramen is the same way. It's like it's great, even if it's not so great, still great.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow.
There you go. And Antoine's giving us his recommendation. General Sound chow mein noodles, just a cut above, and the sauce is incredible. Hey, I'm all for that too.
Mhm.
All right, Andy. Well, listen, you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and everybody in the chat, of course, thank you for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it. We know Saturday afternoons, you got plenty of other things you could be doing, but we appreciate everybody who were able to hang out with us live. And for those of you watching it on the rewind, hit me up if you have any questions. Email address is, I'll even throw that on the screen to make it easy so you can see it, read it, bill@comiccardfans.com. And if there's anything you like, you can hit me up and I'll take care of you and work it out with Andy. So enjoy your the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.